The snow fell in thick, silent waves that night, covering the narrow downtown street in a blanket of icy solitude. Ethan Hayes sat inside the frosted cafe, his coffee untouched and long gone cold. The lights dimmed one by one, chairs flipped upside down on tables, signaling the end of the night. Outside, winter howled along the deserted avenues. He had been waiting for over 4 hours. His phone displayed the same unanswered texts, the same emptiness stretching back to sunset. Everyone else had left: the barista, the couples, the laughter, but he stayed. He had promised himself this time he wouldn't leave too soon. If only he had known that destiny was about to intervene in a way he could never have imagined. Before you continue, if you believe in hope, second chances, and unexpected miracles, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories to life. Ethan was no stranger to solitude. At 34, he had mastered quiet endurance, learned to smile through pain, and convinced himself that love wasn't meant for everyone. A structural engineer by profession, he built bridges for a living, yet had no one to cross them with. 2 years earlier, his fiancée had walked away just weeks before their wedding when his company went bankrupt. Since then, he had lost faith in timing, in promises, and sometimes even in God. Tonight's blind date, arranged by a friend, was meant to be his first step out of that emotional exile. Yet as the snow thickened, it seemed even the universe was unwilling to let him heal. When the cafe finally closed, Ethan stepped out, wrapping his coat tighter. The wind slashed at his face like frozen knives. The street was empty except for a flickering yellow street lamp and a lone bus stop across the road. He sighed, checking his watch again. 11:47 p.m. The date wasn't coming. Turning toward his car, ready to retreat to another quiet night, he heard it, a faint sobbing. At first, he assumed it was the wind. But near the bus stop, he saw her. A woman hunched on the icy bench, clutching a small child to her chest. The boy's head peeked from a tattered grey scarf, and the woman's hands shook as she tried to shield him from the cold. Ethan froze, unsure if it was real. Instinct soon propelled him forward. Crunching through the snow, he approached, and the scene became painfully clear. The woman's coat was thin, her shoes soaked. Her skin was pale, lips trembling. She looked no older than 30, utterly exhausted. She lifted her gaze as he reached her, eyes wary yet quietly strong. The child, no older than 6, slept against her shoulder despite the biting cold. Her story unfolded slowly, teeth chattering. She was Mia Turner, the boy was Liam. Earlier, she had gone downtown to collect her overdue paycheck from the diner she worked at, only to find it closed early due to the storm. With no bus running and her phone dead, she waited, hoping for a late ride. Hours passed, the temperature dropping further, and she had no cab fare to reach her distant apartment. Ethan didn't hesitate. He offered her a ride, but she refused at first, too proud and cautious to accept help from a stranger. He understood pride. He had carried it himself, pretending all was fine when it wasn't. He removed his coat and draped it over her shoulders. Seeing the sincerity in his eyes, her defenses softened. They reached his car, warmth enveloping them. Liam murmured, "Mommy, it's warm now." That one innocent sentence pierced Ethan's heart. It wasn't only the cold they had been fighting, it was life itself. Driving through empty streets, Ethan listened to her fragmented story. Once a teacher's assistant, she married young. Her husband left soon after Liam's birth. Since then, she worked tirelessly in small jobs, keeping a roof over their heads. That night, she hadn't eaten, saving her last piece of bread for Liam. Ethan saw a woman battered by life but refusing to surrender. Reaching her neighborhood, he noticed its decay, cracked walls, flickering lights, oppressive silence. She thanked him, attempting to return his coat, but he refused. Handing her his card, he whispered that if she ever needed help finding better work, to call him. She smiled faintly. "I don't want pity." "It's not pity," he said softly. "It's humanity." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep, thinking of the way she held her son, her whispered thank you. Something in her had settled deep in his heart, pure, undeniable, true. The next morning, he found himself driving back to the cafe, unsure why. Perhaps hoping to see her again, Or perhaps simply tired of waiting for people who never came. Days became a week, and just as he tried to let it go, he received a call. It was Mia. She had summoned the courage to ask if the job offer was still valid. Ethan smiled for the first time in years. He arranged a position for her at a local office, a small gesture that changed everything. In the months that followed, they met often, sometimes over coffee, sometimes at the park while Liam played. Mia laughed more, and her laughter healed parts of him long broken. He taught Liam to build small toy bridges from sticks and cardboard. The boy called him Mr. Ethan. It was the first time anyone had said his name with such innocent warmth in years. Winter melted into spring. Flowers replaced snow, and the world softened. One evening, at the same cafe window where he had once waited alone, Ethan realized that life had given him more than he had asked for. He hadn't found the blind date that night. He had found something better: purpose, family, love. But fate was not finished. One evening, Mia didn't arrive for their usual walk. Hours later, Ethan received a call from the hospital. She had collapsed at work, exhausted and malnourished. He reached her room to find her pale on white sheets, eyes half open, whispering that she only needed rest. He sat beside her, holding her hand, tears stinging his eyes. For weeks, he remained at her side, bringing food, quietly paying bills, caring for Liam as if he were his own. Once, Liam asked, "Mr. Ethan, am I your son now?" Ethan smiled gently. "Not yet, buddy," he said. "But I'll always be here." By summer, Mia regained her health and, more importantly, her faith. She often asked why he helped. "Because someone should have done it for me when I was lost too," he replied. One golden evening, at the park again, Liam chased butterflies. The sun dipped low, casting the world in soft orange light. Mia turned to Ethan, eyes shimmering. "You waited all night that day," she said. "If you hadn't, we would have been out there forever in the snow. Maybe we wouldn't even be here now." Ethan smiled quietly. "I think I was waiting for you, Mia. Not a date." That night, as city lights flickered outside, Mia leaned her head on his shoulder. For the first time in years, Ethan realized home wasn't a place. It was a person. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Sometimes love doesn't arrive on schedule, it finds us in the coldest moments, through the smallest acts of kindness. Tell us in the comments, do you believe destiny hides in these quiet moments? Ethan did. That night in the snow, waiting for a date who never came, he found the kind of love that never leaves.